everybody, this is Jennifer Navarrete with Social Media Club, and I'm here inside the IBM Future of Social Lounge at South by Southwest, and I'm having the opportunity to talk to two guys who have some interesting things to share. I'm with
Kotlyar of Dachis Group.
Peter Fasano with Dachis Group.
We're talking about the state of social advertising. I've been floating around the halls, and everybody's talking about, aggregating content and finding out what everyone's doing. What do you guys have to say about that when it comes to social advertising?
Well, I think our general perspective is, we're starting to see all the big platforms moving toward a world where, you're really looking for engagement as opposed to just impressions around your display advertising. And so it's becoming more and more important for brands to kind of look at these premium ad units and figure out ways to build their strategies around those things around engaged audiences. But unfortunately, for a really long time, that hasn't really been the approach these brands have taken. They've just been looking to acquire the biggest audience they can come hell or high water because they need to sort of have some sort of a currency they can bring to the table to talk to their CMOs about, I've got 1 million people I can talk to, I've got 2 million people I can talk to. Right. That's, people think in terms of Super Bowl numbers, they don't think in terms of, engaged audiences and really topically engaged audiences. Does that make sense, Peter?
It's absolutely, and I guess with the hot movie that we saw over the last half a year around Moneyball and bringing that into every analogy, you've probably heard this week, and it's really about hitting singles and getting on base. Mm-hmm. And it's that always on kind of strategy that matters. And, I think the big focus has been on the huge campaigns, the Super Bowls, and other big one-time-a-year programs that go on. But what we heard from Facebook at FMC last week and what we've seen from Twitter over the last 2 years, it's really about resonance and the engagement and a very focused community that really connects with you, the content you put out there organically, and the ability to amplify it. And so that's our thought around social advertising and where we need to go next with it.
I really, really like that because I've been for years advocating, having the quality connections versus having quantity, and I felt like I was John the Baptist screaming out in the wilderness because people were like, no, we need 10,000 followers, we need 1 million followers. And it's like, yeah, that's great, but who's really listening to you? And it sounds like the Moneyball approach of singles and getting on base is really the approach that's going to work the best in this new age.
That's right. What we're seeing with large brands that we work with directly or those that we monitor competitively. In fact, following the announcement from Facebook last week of their go-to-market partners, some of them are ours, by the way, we have seen that the engagement rates are fairly low on those communities. And the reality is that ads are good, but stories are better. Stories come from an engaged community. So ultimately, if you have a disengaged one on topics or in geographies that aren't a priority for your brand, then you have no inventory in which to promote. And so it's something that will emerge as a problem growing as dollars start flowing to this. As we saw from the road show that they did, they brought out a lot of people with hair a little bit grayer than mine that made those that were have the key to the ad dollars feel more comfortable with this platform that could really perform well for them. They have the evidence, but the audience is not quite there.
Right. So how do you, when we talk about having quality engagements, a lot of times people feel like, I don't have the time for that. I don't have I don't have the staffing for that. We don't have the ad dollars for that. Or if we do, we think we need to have something giant. And if we hyper focus in on something smaller on niches, we're not sure we're actually going to get the most out of it. So how do you convince companies that this is really a smart strategy for them without them feeling that they're going to bankrupt their organization?
You hit it right on the head. If you're Old Spice, what do you do the other 300 days of the year that campaign couldn't be on? And that's a problem for everybody, and everybody doesn't have that level of commitment or a fantastic agency to put that behind them. A huge gap that we don't talk about is kind of social advertising has been for the 1% of the brands. It's been something for somebody that has the $1 million ad budget that they can allocate as a rounding error kind of to their marketing plan. And we know that there's mid-sized brands and there's tertiary brands that they're competing, not the market leader, and don't have the huge dollars to put behind us. How can they do this? How can they compete? Can they compete on the numbers? No way. But they can compete on engagement, and that's something that they can do through their organic strategy, and now it can be amplified to reach those competitors and the specific audience they want to through social advertising. self-serve platforms are becoming emerged through Twitter. They're coming emerged through Facebook now as well too. But it's something that will be accessible to a lot of people. We got it ready for. We have to move beyond the get ready for making your timeline over the next 20 days and getting the creative elements in place. You have to do something with those people that come to you for the first time to hear about your story.
It almost sounds like the mom and pop coffee shop who they know everybody by name and know when you're coming in
Yes.
with your order. That's kind of the what the large companies need to do. They need to come down to that level. And because we can track everything nowadays, you can do that. Large companies are able to do that if they just put the effort and focus in that direction.
You're absolutely right. I mean, so you're talking now about, moving to engagement is what we have talked about. The next level beyond that is advocacy, that relationship of knowing who that regular customer is that comes in to buy that coffee, or that regular customer that buys, the 100 cases for the office, that you're the office manager for. Whatever the case may be, understanding, connectedness, then engagement, moving to influence on topics in priority geographies or on topics, and then moving into true advocacy from there. The value of me as a business to my customer base and my knowledge that I've known about these things in the real world connected to my digital and social world, and understanding true advocacy. So this is what helps to make the cycle of advertising to amplify this message and activating these that are connected to me and passionate about me and that I'm serving well as a business.
Yeah, I love this. I love this direction that we're going with everything. Okay, so where can folks go to find the both of you and find everything that you guys are doing online?
So you can find us at dachasgroup.com, and then we've got a great blog there called The Collaboratory, where we talk about all this stuff all day, every day. And of course, we're both on Twitter and elsewhere, available. I'm at Kotlyar.
And I'm at P. Fasano. We're in countries around the world. We're based here in Austin, Texas, actually, so we're glad to be a hometown kid, being able to talk about this with the Connected Audience Social Media Club and beyond, and our partners at IBM as well.
Fantastic. Well, hey, folks, go check them out. And once again, this is Jennifer Navarrete for Social Media Club.